today I thought we'd do some more baking. So we're gonna make vegan devil's food cake. So this is a recipe that I had for about 25 years, over 23 years, I guess you could say. So this recipe I got from an old Italian American chef named Chef Massey at the CIA. This was our beginning baking class, and this was included in our packet. So yeah, this is a very expensive recipe. So originally this recipe made about 6 10-inch cake, and I broke it down to make about 3 6-inch cake. So instead of doing 3 6 rounds, I'm gonna just do 1 6-inch cake and the rest into like little individual cakes. So we're gonna most of baking is preparation. So the French term for that is mise en place. Mise en place means everything in its place. So I have all my prep ready. I'm going to show you how to prepare the pan though. So if you have one of these cake pans, use them. If you have one of those removable cake pans, it would also be good to do this next step to ensure that the cake won't stick. Okay, so I have a piece of parchment paper here, and I'm going to fold it in half. Then I'm going to fold it in half again. And then you see the point right here where it's the center. I'm going to fold it into a cone shape like this, and I'm going to fold it one more time. So I have the tip is going to be the center. So if I unravel this, you're going to see that everything points towards the middle. So this is the center of our parchment paper. So once we have that, we're going to take our cake pan. We're going to put the tip into the center of the pan. Then I'm going to take a pair of scissors and mark the outer. I'm going to go slightly in. So if it's up to about here, I'm going to go a little bit in. And then I'm going to cut in a round slight curve so that when I open this up, it will basically have the same, it will fit right into the cake pan. I'm going to try to flatten it out. And then I have this. So this is like a oil sprayer that you can put any type of oil in. I have vegetable oil. If you have like Pam or non-stick spray, you can use that also. So I'm just gonna spray the bottom. You don't want to spray the sides because you want the cake to grab onto the side as it's baking. So if you spray the sides, the cake's gonna look like a dome. So it's gonna rise on the top and the sides are gonna be very short. So that's a mistake you want to avoid. If you do want to spray the whole thing and you don't want to use this, you can spray the whole thing. And then you're going to put cocoa powder. And then I'm going to show you that with the molds. So I'm going to just do the what do you call it? The parchment on the bottom here like this. And the cake pan is ready. So for these, I found this. This is I got this like 6 or 7 years ago on Amazon. I thought it was funny. It's like pant shaped like muffin mold, and this is silicone. I thought this looked like Homer Simpson pants. You know how he has a like, muffin top on top? So I thought it was fun, so I bought a bunch of these. So what I'm gonna do with this is that although it's silicone, it still sticks a lot. So I'm gonna spray this. You can spray it or you can take vegan butter and go around it with your finger. And I have one already sprayed here with some cocoa powder in it. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the cocoa powder and kind of like, as it falls out into the next empty one, you're gonna try to coat evenly on the sides here. And then tap the extra out, and basically you'll have nicely coated muffin tip. So I'm gonna wipe the top clean, and then the last one, obviously, you're gonna just go right into the cocoa powder container, and you're gonna just tap out the extra, and that's it. And make sure you wipe the top. And I'm also gonna do some ring molds too. If you want to, I'll show you 3 different ways of making the devil's food cake. One in the large cake pan, and then some in cube muffin, and then the ring molds. The ring molds will be a little fancier. I'll show you how to decorate it so that it looks like a professional cake from like a bakery. Okay. So now that all our molds are made, okay, so to make the batter, it's pretty simple. You're gonna take about 11 ounces of cake flour, which came out to be about 3 cups of flour, cake flour. We're gonna put it right into our mixer. Then we're gonna take 1 pound, 3 ounces of sugar. So this came out to be about also this was 3 cups of sugar also. It's better to weigh it out, but if you don't have a scale, I'll try to convert as much as I can. And then this is 3 ounces of cocoa powder, which is 1 cup of cocoa powder. Then I have 7 ounces of skim milk. Well, it called for skim milk, but I'm using, I found this macadamia milk at Costco, and they had an instant rebate of like $3, so I ended up getting a pack of 6 for like 6 something. So it came out to $1.10 each, and I was like, why not? I'll just try it, and I really like the taste of it. So 7 ounces, which is about what is it? 7/8 cup. So 1 cup has 8 ounces of liquid. So yeah, 7/8. Then I have what is this one is baking powder. One tablespoon of baking powder, 1 tablespoon of salt, and then 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and a pinch of cinnamon. And then we gotta also add our shortening. So instead of all Crisco, I'm gonna add 3 ounces of vegan butter, which is kind of, I softened it a little, and then 3 ounces of Crisco. So once that's in your bowl, all you have to do is mix it. Mix it on low at first, so that all the dry ingredient doesn't go everywhere. I have my little guard here for my KitchenAid. I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna put it on low. So then while this is mixing, you're gonna need 7 ounces of water, and I'm using it called for an egg. So instead of egg, we're doing 7 ounces of water and 1 ounce of pea powder, pea protein powder. I had this ginormous thing of protein powder. Usually that's what bodybuilders use when they want to bulk up, but I have it as an egg replacer in baking things. So I'm gonna add my one ounce, which came out to about 1/3 cup of protein powder. And we have 7 ounces of the macadamia, the milk. But if you have almond milk, you can use almond milk. If you want to use oat milk, you can use the oat milk. I'm just gonna mix these two together. So this is called two-stage method. It's been a while since I baked, okay? So, and this was my major. Who'd have thought, right? So when your mixture comes together like this, I'm gonna show you. It's pretty thick, okay? So give it a nice scrape on the bottom. To get all the dry ingredients on the bottom that is not mixed. Put that, scrape that, and then you're gonna put it back into the mixer. And you're gonna add this liquid in 3 stages. So they call it 2-stage because you're gonna divide it into, actually you're not gonna mix it in 3 stages, you're gonna put it in thirds. So if we added all the liquid at once, it wouldn't mix well. There will be lumps everywhere. So you add a little at a time until it gets incorporated, and you add a little more. So after you add some of that liquid, you're gonna take your spatula . This is smelling so good. And then you can go a little faster. See, my mixture is nice and smooth. It's not lumpy at all. If you look at it, it's so smooth. Look at this. Okay. So we're gonna add the second third. Yes, your towel is gonna be a mess with all these cocoa. Again, we're gonna scrape the sides. You never want to scrape the sides while the mixer is going. You can really hurt yourself. Oh, I've heard some horror stories with the mixers. Oh. Well, this one's not a horror. It's kind of funny. When I worked with one of the instructors at Le Cordon Bleu in Pasadena, he told me a story where because in that baking lab, all the mixers were not the same size. So the school was kind of weird. They should have just ordered everything the same, but they kept ordering things in different sizes. So some of the paddles were too big for the mixer, and the students don't know. So when they cream butter and sugar together, it would turn gray because the paddle would touch the side of the bowl. And one student came up to the teacher that I was teaching with and asked him, "Chef, my butter turned gray, what do I do?" And then he told the student, "Throw it away and start over with a different paddle and the bowl." So the student walks up to the garbage bin and throws the whole thing with the bowl and paddle. And then he yells at the student, "No, you don't throw everything away. You throw away the butter and the sugar and start over with a different equipment that fits." Oh my God, there's so many stories, but you know what? I'll be here forever. The video is gonna be like 3 hours long if I told all that story. So, okay, so scrape it down and mix it. Again, you don't want any lumps. So look at this. It's nice and smooth. If you have lumps, you're too bad, so sad, you're out of luck. No, if you have lumps, it's an extra step and it's very frustrating. What you have to do is take a strainer and then kind of like push through all the chunks and so that the strainer will kind of break down the chunks. So, okay, I'm gonna add my last bit of liquid. basically gets mixed in a little, I'm gonna stop it and go in with my spatula to get every bit of the batter that's not touching the powder. And even on the bottom too. Make sure you get the bottom too. I shouldn't have worn white making chocolate batter. Okay. And then basically you're done. You just mix it up. We're gonna only do 1/6 inch, and then we're gonna do little. So to fill the cake pan, just fill it halfway, because this is gonna rise a lot. Okay, and it's gonna go into 350-degree oven. Ideally, you don't want fan in your oven. If you have the option to turn it off, do so, because when you're baking cakes, that's the number one mistake. Everyone's like, oh, convection oven makes it rise so well, but it also dries it out because of all the air that goes into it. So when I bake cakes, I try to bake it in a conventional oven with no fan. So 350 degrees, I'm gonna pop this in. Obviously that cake is gonna take longer than these little ones. So for these little ones, I'm gonna put it into my little cup with a spout. And just for fun, these little ones, I'm gonna put in some dry cherries in the middle. So I'm gonna fill this about 3/4 of the way. There's a little line at the top here of the mold. I don't know if you can see, but like a belt line. I'll fill it just up to there. It's a little more than 3/4, but for these little cakes, it should be just fine. Okay, and then just when you're doing these ring molds, just make sure that you have a nice flat tray. Otherwise, all the filling is gonna come out of the mold and into all over your tray. So it looks like I can do 2 of these ring molds. Alright. So these little muffin top molds, I'm gonna put like about. So you're gonna bake these for about 15-20 minutes until the center is firm but not like hard. So if you have a cake tester, use the cake tester. If not, use the toothpick. If it comes out clean, it's pretty much done. So I'm gonna pop this into the oven. Alright, now that our cakes are in the oven, we're gonna make the frosting. So we're gonna put 4 ounces of cocoa powder, which is about 1 cup and 2 tablespoons. But it's actually better for you to invest in a scale and do it by weight, especially when you're baking. I'll try to give you both equivalent. So, okay, then we have powdered sugar. This is about 5.5 cups or 1 pound 4 ounces. So we're gonna put all this in here. This will make about 3 pounds of frosting. Then we have shortening. We're gonna add 2 ounces of shortening. and 2 ounces of vegan butter. I have 1.5 teaspoons of salt. And one of the last ingredient is corn syrup. So this is 6 ounces of corn syrup, but I have the corn syrup measured out. So 6 ounces. Corn syrup has the same density as water. 6 ounces will be about 3/4 cup of corn syrup. So I measure it in here. That's why I like to do it by weight. And then I just prick the bottom, because if you measure it out in a bowl or a cup, and you don't get all of it in there because most of it will stay in the bowl. So I just like tear the bottom of the plastic, and then I just like squeeze all this in there. So some of it ended up here, but it's very minimal compared to if you had it in here in a container. So I'm gonna put all these ingredients in there, and I'm gonna take the paddle attachment and we're going to mix it. So before we mix it, I'm gonna have some hot water ready, just in case I need to add a little, just in case this is too stiff. So I'm gonna start mixing it on low. So the recipe called for 4 ounces of hot water. So you may not need all 4 ounces depending on where you live. It's pretty dry here in Arizona. I may need to add all of it, but let's see. Yeah, it looks pretty, it came together, but it looks pretty dry. I'm gonna add just a little bit at a time, maybe tablespoon at a time. So 4 ounces is basically half a cup. But I don't think I'm gonna use all half a cup. I'm just gonna use half of that, which is 1/4 cup, or 2 tablespoons. I mean 4 tablespoons. So you see how my frosting is coming together like this? This is the ideal texture you want. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scrape the bottom. So it looked like it was a lot of ingredients, but once it came together, it's not. I mean, maybe I should have done the full batch, which makes 6 pounds of frosting. But I think this will be okay. If not, I'll just do more. But I think we'll be okay to frost. Oh, this looks better than the stuff you buy at the store. And you're basically gonna whip it at medium speed until it gets light and fluffy. Alright, looks delicious. See if you noticed? When I'm cooking savory food, I'll taste. But since I don't care for sweets too much, you don't see me like eating. But chocolate cake is one of those desserts that I do like. It's just I don't eat it often. Look at that! Look at the, oh my god, this frosting is like so much better than the stuff you buy in the already made cake section, you know? like Beck & Hines or Betty Crocker. Oh, there goes my timer for the small cakes. So my frosting is done. Oh, all right, I will give it a taste. Because we have a good amount of salt in there, you taste the salt with the sweetness, which I like. That's good. And you think, oh, it's kind of grainy, isn't it, because of the cocoa powder? No, because of the little bit of fat and the corn syrup made it so smooth. It's like a paste that's been whipped up. Look at this. How could you not like this? So we're gonna put this aside, and then while the cakes are finished baking and cooling, I'm gonna do one more thing. Okay, so now that I've made vegan creme anglaise in the tarte tatin video, now I know the right amount. So here comes a quarter cup of cashews, and then I'm gonna add hot water, two cups of hot water to the cashew. Then we're gonna add about quarter cup of vanilla sugar. And 2 teaspoons of xanthan gum. Okay, so that's about 1, 2. Now we're gonna blend this. Since I used hot water, I don't even really need to cook this now. So we have, it's kind of frothy now, so as it sits and cools, it's gonna turn back into a nice. Oh, I forgot our turmeric, so I can do that by hand. Just gonna add about half a teaspoon of turmeric to give it that eggy color. Here's our vegan creme anglaise. You didn't even have to cook it. So now that we have that done, we're gonna go ahead and make a little bit of berry compote. It's March, and it's not really berry season for another 2 or 3 months. So I found a really nice organic berry mix in the freezer section, and we're just gonna make a compote out of it. So in a nice saute pan, I'm gonna add all my berries. So the strawberries are kind of big, but once it kind of like thaws out and cooks a little, I'm gonna kind of break it with my spoon. I'm gonna add about, this was about 2 cups, 2.5 cups of mixed berries. I'm gonna put, you're supposed to put about 10% of sugar to the berries when you're making compote. So 2.5 cup is about, one cup is 16 tablespoons. So 32 plus 8, 40. So 10% will be 4 tablespoons. And then to that, we're gonna add juice of 1 lemon. So what the lemon will do is it will activate the natural pectin that's in the berries. So the acid, actually, you need acid to activate the pectin whenever you're making jam or anything like that. Same goes with compote. This will make the compote come out a little thicker and juicier. And it will also start the breaking down of the berries with the juices. So I'm gonna turn it down to low heat, and as the lemon juice kind of helps break down the berries to kind of like release more juice into it, it's gonna thicken. So if you put it on high, it's gonna probably burn before it does that, especially when we're using frozen berries. I mean, you can make this compote and also put it all over ice cream. That's really yummy too. God, for someone who doesn't even eat dessert that much, knows a lot about it, right? Well, it was my profession for about 20 years, being a pastry chef, so yeah. Okay, so we're gonna just let this go and then come back when it's reduced a little. Okay, so our berry compote, once it cools down, it's really thick. So you can see that it's hard to see, but if I coat the back of this spoon and let it cool a little, and then you draw a line, and you see how it doesn't move back into the sauce, it's pretty much done. So at this point, if you puree this and strain the seeds, it becomes coulis. Coulis means a puree of itself, and usually like a sauce that you put on a plate. So this can be served like this as a compote. If you wanted to turn it into a sauce instead, yeah, you can totally puree this. But what I like to do is I like to put a spoonful of this next to the cake and kind of like use the sauce to make a little bit of a design with the creme anglaise. So yeah, we're gonna leave this here. Okay, so these took a little longer than I thought. So they took about 25 minutes for the little ones. And you see how I could have filled them just a little bit less if I didn't want any spilling over to the side, but I mean, like when you tap it, it shouldn't really jiggle in the middle. Or if you like touch it in the middle, like this one's less done because it was in the middle, but these ones on the outside are pretty firm. So I'm gonna let this cool, and then I'm gonna show you how to frost these, especially the little miniature one. I'm gonna show you how to make it super elegant. So we'll come back when these. So here's the larger one. The larger one took about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. You see how when I tap it, it doesn't really jiggle, but it's it's a little bit soft on the middle, but I know that it's cooked all the way. Because it kind of like bounces back a little bit. It doesn't stay indented when I push down on it. And you notice how my cake rised up evenly? It's because I didn't grease the sides of it. You see how it grabbed onto the side of the cake pan. So we're gonna let this cool. Yeah, this cake looks beautiful. So one thing I know how to make is cake, okay? So we'll come back when this cools, and then I'll show you how to decorate things and present it on a plate. Show you how to unmold the giant cake. So all I do is run my knife around, and I'm not hitting anything because it already released itself. And I'm gonna take, I usually put plastic wrap because I don't want the top of the cake to get stuck on the plate. And just place it right on the plate. It just release like this. Simple, easy. And then if you're not going to use it right away, you can just wrap it with the plastic. But when you do use it, don't forget to take this parchment out. Look how moist this cake is. You can see the moisture still in the cake. Okay, wrap it up. Then I'm gonna label it, and this will stay in the freezer up to like few months. And then I'll take it out and use it when I need to make a birthday cake or going to a party and if I don't wanna buy anything or make something else, I make a devil's food cake. I mean, this is so simple. Alright, so I had these cakes chilling in the freezer, so they're nice and cool to the touch. I'm gonna try to release this. Smarter way would be from the bottom because you can see. Just use a nice paring knife to go around and then just release it like this. So you see how moist and fluffy this cake is? It's unreal. It's so fluffy and moist. So I'm going to slice this cake. I'm gonna level it off. Level means flatten the top and make sure that it's nice and even. It might be a little hard because this is a smaller cake. And at this point, I'm just gonna slice it in half so that I can fill the inside also. Or you can leave it whole. It's up to you. So once I have the cake cut like this, look how crumbly and moist this is. I mean, like, alright, I'm gonna eat this. I just got a crunchy bit. It's so good. And this is the way we used to do wedding cake samples. So I take a ring cutter that's about quarter to 1/3 inch smaller than the actual ring, and then we would trim it. Okay, so after we trim it, I have a small piece of parchment because I don't want frosting all over my turntable. If you don't have a turntable, you don't really need to use one. I like to use it because I have one. If you have one, you can use it. Then you put the cake down in the middle. This part is the fun part. I have a pastry bag here, and I have these tips. These are old. I had these for about 25 years. You see the case is cracked here, and I ghetto taped it. I had this for about 25 years. This is like, oh, I don't know. I've lost few of the tips though. That's okay. So how you use this coupler and the tip is that the inside plastic piece that screws on goes on the inside, and then you put your tip right on top of it like this, so that make sure it covers the whole bag. Okay, then you're gonna take this and you're gonna screw it on. So that way it's nice and tight and you can use the bag. So once you have the bag, you're gonna put it and make a cup around your hand like this. And you're gonna place it right into the bag. And make sure you don't overfill your bag because you're gonna have a hard time squeezing the frosting up. So what I do is at the end here, I'm gonna twist. And that way you can just squeeze with your fingers here and your palm, and then it will come right out. So this is how you properly use a pastry bag. Twist, rest it in your palm, and then you just squeeze. Okay, so once you have that, I'm gonna take the frosting and just kind of like squeeze it in all the way to the bottom. And then to the side. You're gonna come up. So at this point, you can put frosting in the middle, but I'm gonna put a little bit of this. I'm gonna mash up some of the strawberry a little bit, and I'm gonna put a spoonful of my berries. Okay, so I'm gonna build up the frosting on around the berries. Then I'm gonna go ahead and put my top layer on. So for the top layer, I usually like to put the bottom of the cake since it's flat. So when I frost it, it's not gonna be as like, it'll be a lot easier. So I'm gonna place more of the frosting like this. Just make sure there's no air gap in between when you're pushing in the frosting. Okay, so now that we have our frosting in there, I'm gonna take my spatula and kind of smooth the top. So when you're smoothing the top, you're going at a 45-degree angle to get any excess frosting off. So it'll be a lot cleaner and smoother if you just go in one shot. And that's it. So after I do this, I'm going to put this into the freezer to set up. So when it completely freezes, we're gonna take a torch and unmold it. So we're gonna put this right on this sheet tray. It's gonna be a beautiful cake. I'm gonna pop this in the freezer. And then for the muffin tops, these right here, the Homer Simpson pants I like to call them. We're going to just frost it. You can frost it with this by putting, going around like this. Okay, or if you want to use your spatula, you can. You can go with the spatula like this. Then if you want to go a little more homier, old school style, you can kind of like go with your spatula and fluff it up like this so that it has little points on top. Okay. And also, if you do like the piping, you can make little flowers on top if you wanted to. I kind of like make a tear shape. Middle, coming into the middle. Then make a little flower. See? This is the other way, you know, kind of like, and also if you wanted to do something like, I'll show you, like meringue points. Like this. That's cute. If you have chocolate sprinkles, you can put chocolate sprinkles. I don't have any because, like I said, I don't really have a sweet tooth and I don't have kids, so sprinkles, I'm like, and they're so sweet. You know, I'd rather shave some chocolate and put it on here. But I don't have a big block of chocolate. I usually shave. Next time I'll do that. So these are endless. However way you want to decorate it. If you have a bigger round tip, you can make bigger flower on top. Like this is kind of puny, because if you look at it, it's not that, you know. You can make one that's the whole top of the cake. Okay, so it's been in the freezer for about good 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Let's see if it's gonna come out nice and clean. So I have a torch here, and I'm just gonna. You can tell when to stop torching when you see the condensation kind of like disappear. Oh, it's so close. It's kind of hot. Here it comes. Oh, I got stuck on this side a little, but it's okay. It still came out nice. There's a little bit of a fix-up I have to do over here, but other than that, I'm gonna just run my spatula over there. Okay, it looks good enough to eat, right? So on the plate, we're gonna put our vegan creme anglaise. Just make a simple design like that. And then we're gonna take this cake. Hopefully it will come off this parchment. Okay, so that's my ugly side. I'm gonna put it right here. It could have sat a little more. If it's completely frozen and you unmold it, then you wouldn't have this problem. But you know, you live and learn, right? And then I'm gonna take some compote, and I'm just gonna put it right in the front like this, with some of the sauce. And you can kind of like take the sauce and kind of like put dots of it. I didn't really want to do a plated dessert today, but something fun. Okay, so we have this really delicious devil's food cake. You can make it fancy or as not simple, but like more approachable as you want. So I'm gonna, oh, this one has some burnt parchment. Make sure you get all the parchment paper out. So I'm gonna taste this. This is what it looked like. Like if I had fresh berries, I would put fresh berries around too. Maybe on top of it. That would be really yummy. Another thing you can do, you can even put peanut butter in the center. Think about that, huh? Let me see. Oh my god, this is like a moist cake. Especially when I put the compote in the middle. It's better than Little Debbie's. Those are sitting on the shelf for however long because so much of preservative, right? This cake is so moist. But for me, after a few bites, I'm done because I don't care for super sweet things. So I'm gonna kind of like not eat the frosting. I'm just gonna eat the cake. berry compote. Do I have anything on my teeth? Yes, it's gross. I'll stop doing it. But yeah, look at this. I destroyed the cake in like 5 seconds. And the berries are so refreshing. Especially with that little bit of lemon. And then I get the hint of vanilla from the vanilla sugar. Alright, I will eat a cupcake. But I'm gonna, don't hate me, I'm gonna scrape off most of the frosting. Cause I'm more like of a cake person, but not really for the frosting. That's just me. Look how funny these are. Muffin top. They're like Homer Simpson pants, but they called it muffin top because it's pants, you know. It's so moist, I'm gonna need a fork to get into it. I got some of that dried cherries that I put in here. It's so good. I mean, look how moist this looks. Look. Whenever I have to make a chocolate cake, this is my go-to recipe. It's so crumbly, like moist. Chocolatey. I'm gonna eat it with some of the creme anglaise and the berry. The rest I'm gonna have to put into the freezer and give it to my niece. Well, I don't know if I should give her that much chocolate to my niece. Anyways, they're going in the freezer because I'm not gonna eat them all. Well, I hope you enjoyed learning how to make devil's food cake. Press the like button for me, please. It's free and it just takes 1 second. Share this video with all your friends. Subscribe if you haven't already. The more likes the video has, the YouTube will show it to more people. So I would like to do more baking videos too. Leave a comment on what you want to see, or if you think I should stop doing videos on baked goods. Then cooking is so much easier because you don't have to plan ahead. You just cook it. Baking, you have to bake, then cool, then come back and do all these. Yeah, but it's for me it's fun. A little more stressful, but it's fun. So press the like button, share it with all your friends, let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to see next in the baking series. Yeah, I'll see you next time, okay? Bye!